Hey, what is up, you guys? It's Xantho. And today I'm going to be showcasing and going over my new build. This is not a new build created by me. This is actually a pretty old build, except it's incredibly off meta, and not a lot of people even know it exists. And this is my new take on it, which I am is actually a jug, which is generally done on a chieftain, but I picked up the forbidden jewels for chieftain that are necessary. But basically, what is this build? This build is a self-hit, self-ignite, reflect totem galvanic arrow build. Now that's a mouthful, but the way this build works is basically Torchoak step, its bottom line, says totems reflect 100% of their maximum life as fire damage to nearby enemies when hit. So when your totems get hit, they reflect 100% of the maximum life as fire damage. Now this doesn't actually deal damage to them, they just reflect the damage. Now since it's reflected, you can't add supports to it or anything, it's just pure damage. You can, however, reduce enemy resistances and make enemies take more damage. So we'll be doing that as well. But the way we make ourselves hit, our totems hit themselves, is using Eye of Innocence. Now the line here says take 100 fire damage when you ignite an enemy. Now, basically, we want to apply as many ignites as physically possible, so we get 100% ignite chance on the tree through various things. You get 30% here, you get 30% here for 60%, you get 25% from flammability, so that's 85%, you get 10% from Eye of Innocence itself, and I have 5% on a jewel here. So that's 100% chance to ignite. And then what you want to do is you want to scale totem life as high as possible. And the best way to do this is using a Forbidden Shaka, which allows up to a level 35 Ballista Totem. The higher the level of the Ballista Totem support, the more HP it has. So level 35 is the maximum. I happen to find one with multiple totems on it as well, which is amazing, because it's basically now a pseudo 6 link instead of a pseudo 5 link. And I have Galvanic Arrow. I'll explain that in a second. Faster attacks, GMP, and Barrage. So Galvanic Arrow is cool because it hits twice. And it fires 3 arrows at base. So at base it hits 6 times. You have 1 arrow goes out and hits. And then it creates a cone that also hits. An AoE cone that also hits. So Galvanic Arrow hits twice per arrow. And then we have faster attacks just to get more arrows out, GMP to get more arrows out, and Barrage to make them all fire in a straight line. So in total we have 14 arrows because I have a +1 Proj Skirmish, which also gives +1 totem. I have a +1 bow attack equivalent with attack speed on it. I have a rain of splinters with totems fire 2 additional projectiles, and the totem damage doesn't matter because we don't scale damage. It doesn't scale damage anyway. It just reflects their life. There's no way to scale this damage at all other than reducing enemy resists and making them take more damage. So we have Galvanic Arrow hitting twice, this increasing the speed more, and then Barrage. Basically what we have is we have 14 projectiles all fired sequentially at a rate of 2.5 per second. So let's bring up a calculator here. And then I have a bunch of totem life tattoos here. Increase totem life, increase totem life, increase totem life, yeah. All the totem life on the tree. Now the issue is how do we make enemies actually get to the totem because they can't move. And that way we do it is with Empire's Grasp. This makes knockback direction reversed, so when you knock back an enemy it gets pulled towards you. And then we use Kineticism from the Siege small cluster jewel from Delirium to make attack projectiles always inflict bleeding and maim and knockback enemies. So we have a 100% knockback chance, but they can't pierce fork or chain, which doesn't really matter because the cones basically pierce everything. It's an AoE, so the cone will always pull back enemies, and on a single target they're getting hit twice. So you're getting all the enemies are going to be sucked into the totems and then exploded in this kind of medium-sized AoE from the put D&D mode on, from the medium-sized explosion of Torchoak step. Now I've done some interesting things here. For example, I'm using Stormblast Mine with Enhance and a +1 Torchoak step. That is because Stormblast Mine at 20 qual, well, at base makes enemies take 3% increased damage per mine nearby. And then per 20 quality you get a 1% increase. So the level 4 Enhance, which is level 3, but it's in a +1 Torchoak step, that means enemies are taking 5% increased damage per mine. So then with Minefield, I can throw out 18 mines rather quickly, and the AoE is actually quite large that applies to enemies. It's like this big. So basically that means enemies are taking 90% increased damage, and it's incredibly noticeable when they're out. So it definitely works. It's incredibly noticeable. I was doing some serious runs earlier, and it's really noticeable when you don't have your Stormblast Mines up. So that's good. Blood Rage is getting additional attack speed. This build is just really fun. So let's do some math here of how much DPS we're actually doing. So our totems have 22,331 life. 22,331. And we have an attack rate of about 2.5 per second. Galvanic Arrow hits twice per attack. We have 14 projectiles per attack. We have 9 totems. And the enemies are taking 1.9 times damage from Stormblast Mine. And enemies have about negative 6% resist if it's a pinnacle, so it's times 1.06. Whoops. Times 1.06. So we're doing just a hair under 30 million DPS, which is pretty freaking cool. And that's single target. It actually goes much higher if you're clearing in maps. And things just get absolutely deleted when there's lots of enemies. But the issue is it also absolutely deletes your FPS. When you're in dense areas like breaches and blight and stuff, and Harbinger packs, your FPS just goes to shit. It might be due to the number of sounds, so I'm going to try disabling sounds in the config file, sound effects in the config file, and see if that actually helps at all. So I'm going to do that later, but I'll just show you a map. I'm going to do a Drox so you can show you the single target as well. With a Harbinger Scarab Discernment, a Harbinger Scarab, Beyond Scarab, and a Blight Scarab. So I'm going to be doing Blight with some Harbinger stuff, and then putting... Not Harvest. Where's Harbinger? Oh, there it is. Harbinger on the character. On the map. Make sure I have my Warcry set up. So we'll show you how it works here. Basically, you drop your totems. I'm a Jug with over 100,000 armor, so, and Brass Dome, so I'm actually rather tanky. Oh yeah, and one cool thing is I have Arrow Hangui, which basically makes 25% of damage taken by your totems recouped to you as life, and the self damage is countered as damage. So you can imagine how much damage these totems are taking per second, based on how many freaking arrows that are being fired out and the number of damage they're taking. You're actually recouping quite a bit of life, even though you don't have a lot of life regen. I only have like 200 life regen, 250 maybe, but I actually have lots of life recovery. See how fast that went back up? That's not 250, that's not 250. That's way higher than that, because I'm recouping the damage that my totems are doing to themselves. So I'll make sure that doesn't level up my Molten Gel a little bit. Toss my Stormblast Mines down. Hopefully I don't die during this, that would be embarrassing. Level 3, okay. I'm just going to see if I can find the boss real quick so I can go fight Drox. Funny thing with this build and Blight is they can actually pull Blight monsters backwards on the Blight lanes and pull them actually out of their Blight lanes entirely, which is really funny actually. So you can basically, if they're getting too close to the pump, you can place your totems far away from the pump and it'll suck them away from the pump. So if you fail a Blight with this build, like, you should feel bad about yourself. See, I'm talking about the frames, and also it's kind of photosensitive epilepsy time here. So let's see if we can find the boss. It's going to be up here somewhere. Ooh, Harvest Feast memory. Those are like probably like 10 div or something. I'm not sure how much those are. That's a pretty cool drop. Alright, where's the boss? I want to fight Drox. Okay. See, this build actually does DPS. It's crazy. Let's get Blood Rage up. Yeah, it actually does DPS, and that's with without glove swapping. I have an Empire's Grasp. If you were to get some gloves with like LA weak on hit with some serious attack speed on it, stuff like that. Other good mods that'll increase your arrows per second, basically. You can do even more DPS than that. But the DPS is actually pretty crazy, and I might be actually understating it with that math. It might be even more than that. It might be even like 40 million, maybe even 50. Because it just feels so like high. I was doing some serious runs, and I was just phasing them nearly instantly. Even with the without glove swapping. So this was pretty fun. It's relatively tanky. I would not suggest it for anybody with like a laptop, unless you want to set your laptop on fire. Like my frames, dude. Look at this. Trust me, when you're in Blights, your FPS will get under 10. And I have like a 6700 XT and a 5800X, both from AMD, but those are pretty beefy cards and CPUs. Like that's not, and I'm playing only at 1080p at minimum settings. I'm still getting under 10 FPS. Like that's ridiculous. Let me see if I can find the Blight here. Show you the backwards suck, I like to call it. It's pretty funny actually. Oh, it's over here. I was right at the beginning of the map. I missed it. Yeah, when my totems are up, I have like 85,000, 106,000 armor. With all the defensive jugnauts. Okay, let's do a Blight. Oh, there's no stun immune. That's pretty cool. So let's put some stun towers here. Put some... And I'm not going to need these in the slightest because this build just absolutely destroys Blights. Okay. You just place your totems down and just be prepared for some low FPS gaming. Watch. Look, it's pulling them backwards. Oh, it's freaking funny. Let's get Vol Haste up. Turn that off. Oh, apparently I'm bleeding. Whatever. I got so much recoup it doesn't matter. Nope. I'm gonna have to put some over here. I am currently at 17 FPS. This is with all the Blight stuff on the tree too. Oh, my FPS. This is not actually, that was not my FPS. That was the server. This build literally causes server lag. Like it messes with the instance. My FPS was 27, but the server couldn't keep up. Oh my god. I might fail this Blight just because I can't. The server's trying, dude. Oh, 3 FPS. Oh my god. How am I surviving? The recoup is ridiculous. Yep, I failed. I failed. I just said earlier in the video that if you fail a Blight with this build, you should feel bad about yourself. So I guess I should feel bad about myself. Because holy shit. It's not usually that bad. I think it's because I'm recording a video is why it got that bad, because it's using my GPU to render the recording, to record it. I still didn't die though. That's the impressive part. Like the amount of recoup and tankiness is pretty freaking great, actually. So basically that is the build. I'm gonna post my current POV in the description, and please don't play this character. Just don't do it. Like it's not worth it. It's not worth the GPU stress, and it's kind of hard to put together. It's really hard to put together. Please be golden. Nope. Nope. How much are these memories? 600 C, that's probably price fixed. These are probably like 10 div. Get rid of that. Okay, that is the build. Peace out, you guys.